Okay, so here's the historic proof of why the market is going to drop close to 20-30% in the next 8 trading sessions. This is a historic analog that I've discussed recently on a podcast, but this is a visual of it, which makes it very easy for you to see exactly what transpires within that particular time frame. Now, the reason that we are zooming in on this particular time frame, which you can see, this is December 2017, January 2018, February 2018. There's a lot of things that are fundamentally synonymous in the markets within that time frame and with what's happening in the markets right now. Back then, the market was rallying because of Trump policies such as cutting taxes. Similar things are happening right now with a lot of Trump policies, the big, beautiful bill in cutting taxes and all of that stuff. So the market looks at it the same way it was looking at the Trump policies back then in 2017, 2018 transition. Nobody believed the market could break or drop. It could only go higher. Now, the key pivotal information that you will see here, Bitcoin tops out first. So this is December. Bitcoin tops out at 20,000. Literally 30, 40 days later, you have the indexes, and this is particular here. This is a comparison and overlay between Bitcoin, which is in blue and red, and S&P 500 index, which is here in green and orange. So you can clearly see how Bitcoin sets the top. Within a short time frame after that, the market sets the top. Well, there's a few slight differences, okay? Bitcoin set the top in 2025 in October. The market just set recently a top a couple of days ago, last week, where it briefly went and touched the 7,000 level. And if you're trading futures, it actually went above 7,000. So basically, in my view, the conditions are met for the market to do this next. Now, this has not happened yet. And what you're looking at is S&P 500 here, dropping roughly 6-7%. If that was just to happen, notice that it doesn't happen, but within a very short amount of time. So we're not talking about a 500-point drop that happens over the course of, 2 months on S&P. We're talking about a drop that takes literally one trading week overlapping onto the next one. So if basically you analyze the historic analog here, you will see that S&P 500, after it tops out, it hesitates for a couple of days. It trades just shy of all-time highs, and then it begins collapsing. Now notice the magnitude of the collapse and how much the move expansion plays out. Now, we recently have seen a similar thing in move expansion to the downside as far as gold and silver, but we have not had the indexes make that sort of move expansion yet. My argument is simple, that between now, which is February 2nd and February 9th, and possibly the drop will continue, but as you can see, once it makes the move expansion, the drop expands very rapidly within just a couple of trading sessions, and it hits the lows really rapidly as well. But after that, the move is suppressed, and overall you're getting like a bounce. That's what happened in February of 2018. But the point is, there's 2 points on this chart that you should be aware of. Number one is Bitcoin is making an identical move, with the only exception, it takes the size of the move, it's taken a little bit longer time frame to play out. So I'm gonna bring us to the chart of Bitcoin, a recent chart. But what I want you to focus on as far as the chart formation and pattern formation, a top is set, followed by a drop, followed by what? A bounce. What do? We short the bounces. Drop, here's a bounce, we short the bounces. Okay, you will see a similar structure. Now, this is just I would say, half of a tornado pattern, which later resolves in a drop all the way to 7,000. So basically, within a very short time frame, like 45 days. Here you have a drop from 20,000 all the way down to 7,000. Okay, that is a 65% drop within 45 days. Okay, and your goal is not to do what everybody's doing right now when it comes to Bitcoin, which every time it drops, what do? They buy the fucking dip, and then they're happy for a moment, and then they're like, oh shit, and they're happy for a moment, and then oh shit, and I mean, the account is gone at that point, especially if you're utilizing some stupid strategies like buying the dip on Bitcoin futures, like with leverage. Forget it. You're gonna get smoked. Trading futures on Bitcoin is like the stupidest fucking thing anybody can do. Options is just a such superior way to trade that. But look at this pattern, right? So drop, bounce once, bounce two, drop, bounce four, and then you have a major collapse. Now, if you were to actually go back in history and look to see what happens, well, between February and November of 2018, Bitcoin drops from this level of 9,000. It drops back all the way down to 3,000, which is essentially where it started to move prior to the October takeoff in 2017. So basically, pay close attention to the pattern. The time frame is going to be slightly different, but that tells you that Bitcoin is not, like, everybody's buying the dip, but Bitcoin is actually not going to bottom until November 2026. Now, it could be a little early, maybe it could be October, November, but basically you still have about 9 months of Bitcoin dropping lower, and we're not talking about small drops. So if you were to time the top of December 2017 at 20,000, Bitcoin drops by November of 2018 all the way down to 3,000. That is an 85% drop. Now let's look at the current situation. So that's point number one, is the formation, the size of the drop, the time frame of the drop. Everybody thinks it's a bull market in Bitcoin. They're buying the dip and they're getting fucked. They're buying the dip, they're getting fucked. They're buying the dip, they're getting fucked. Makes so much more sense, based on the historic analog, just to reverse your strategy. Short the bounce, the shit drops. I promise you. I mean, this is the easiest fucking trade you could be making in the market right now. And the second takeaway from this is the S&P 500, right? It looks like the market just keeps going higher and higher and higher, and everybody's like, well, there's no way the market's dropping, the economy is good. I mean, of course, the economy is total shit. It's just the way they're reporting these economic numbers are just total garbage. You can't believe this shit. But hey, at some point, all of these breaks, and my argument is it could break any fucking day right now. Any day, you're going to see this move in the indexes. And when I say the indexes, we're talking about Russell 2000, S&P 500, NASDAQ. All of them are going to be in free fall just like that for just a number of trading sessions. Okay, so there's no need to go and buy puts that expire 1 or 2 years from now. I mean, you nail this size of move where you wake up and, like, S&P 500 is down 280 points, it's down 340 points. I mean, you're about to see moves like that in the indexes. So those are the main takeaways. Bitcoin is a predecessor pointing to what's going to happen to the indexes. It doesn't happen necessarily when 30 to 45 days like it's happening here, but it is about to happen. And one of the greatest indications to look at is when you're close to the top, and we're going to take a look at that in just a sec. When you're close to the top like this, and then the market hesitates to rally, or it makes one last effort like here, and it fails, like it falls off shortly off the cliff right after that. So let's review the current state of the market. So basically, the market's now, yeah, sure, it's been trending higher and higher and higher, which was the case back before the market fell off the cliff in February. It was the first week of February 2018. It's the fact that the market is unable to break above the 7,000 and maintain this level, which makes this a very solid top information. So opposed to everyone expecting to move higher, okay, we're going to get exactly the opposite of that. And before you wake up in the next few trading sessions, I'm recording this on February 2nd. I mean, you could be waking up to S&P 6,400, S&P 6,100, S&P 5,800, and all of this could take place like this week between February 2nd, okay? And by the way, at the time I'm recording this, the markets are bouncing. So last time I looked at the futures, we were at 7,002 on S&P 500 futures. So what I'm saying is it's got to be one of the best short selling entries of all times because all the conditions are met. You got a perfectly matching historic analog. But there's one huge thing that is also taking place that I'm not sure why the market hasn't even begun to price it yet. And I think it's not even fully priced in the price of Bitcoin yet. So the top information to me is quite obvious here. There is a lag in the RSI, which is a bear divergence here. The way the MACD looks like, it could just turn this way at any given moment and hit this kind of level here. So from positive 25 and go to negative 25. And that's all it's going to take sometimes to bring the market 6-7% down. Considering though all the other catalysts that the markets have brushed off recently, and literally the indexes are the only things that are still up close to all-time highs or literally at all-time highs, we can get a super outsized move to where just like Bitcoin that's sort of round-tripped already. I mean, we could be going back to this 5,700 level like within trading sessions. You see, this entire move, this should have never fucking happened. Like, so from April, May of 2025 up to now, I mean, this part of history should have never fucking happened. It was artificially produced. So it could be wiped out literally in a series of, let's say, 5 to 6 trading sessions. You could get a move all the way down here. And anybody that's been accumulating what they call a portfolio position, selecting stocks with high growth potentials, like you're buying this shit on delusional numbers, on delusional economic reports, on a bunch of fake garbage out there. So what I'm saying, this entire move from April of 2025 until now could be wiped out in a matter of a few trading sessions. This is how dire and serious these current market conditions are. And yet there's people are talking about new all-time highs, S&P 8,000. I mean, people are fucking delusional. The shit that's happening in the markets right now, guys, I've never seen any fucking, like the level of stupidity is like, it would be the equivalent of buying Bitcoin at like 126,000 and thinking you're fucking the smartest guy in the room. You know what I'm saying? So let's go and switch this up to Bitcoin so you can see this situation a little bit better. Let me go just a step. Let's go take a look at 1 year so you could see how Bitcoin from April to now, it already round tripped. And so technically you'd say, okay, this is a major head and shoulder formation. How could it go lower under such circumstances? Well, you have a very well-defined tornado pattern. And you guys should all, anybody that's been with the channel, following the channel, you guys should know what a fucking tornado pattern is. If not, you should reach out to us, take the course that talks about the entries and exits, and we'll go thoroughly about this tornado pattern in that course for at least an hour, giving you variations, the size and the variations of this, and multiple examples so you could actually spot this, right? So that's why I was screaming at everybody at 97K to short the fuck out of Bitcoin, because the tornado pattern was perfect, right? It was 1, 2, 3, 4 bounces, and after the 4th bounce, it's over. And sometimes the tornado pattern will be like 2 or 3 bounces, and the precondition of that is a sizable drop. You have bounce 1, bounce 2, and then shit can collapse like this. The more times it bounces, the harder the drop is going to be. And clearly we are at a very critical level, because sure, you have a head and shoulder formation overall, which a definitive indication that this is a valid head and shoulder formation is the fact that when Bitcoin shoots to 125, 126 right here at the top, okay, you have major drying out in the accumulation. And you can clearly see by the size of these candles, the green candles, they're just underwhelmed. I mean, they're overwhelmed by the red candles right here. So the size of the selling is like twice, in some days 3 times the size of the buying. So you know the show is over here, but that just happens to be exactly when here at 13 Market Moves we're getting a bunch of hateful mail from people, traders like, how can you be fucking bearish on this, Leo? You've lost your fucking mind. Yeah, what are these fuckers saying now? You were stupid enough to buy Bitcoin at 120, 125K. This shit just hit 75K yesterday, and now you're sitting there fucking praying that Michael Saylor is going to buy it to support his mind. Like, this is how stupid this is. This is the bombshell. Guys, this right here, okay, is the main difference that we didn't have in 2017, 2018. Because this fucking guy, Michael Saylor, okay, didn't even know about Bitcoin at that time. So this fucker starts buying it with borrowed funds in 2019. And look how great of a fucking job he's done. He's been buying this shit for 7 years, and his average cost is 76K. Now, let's not mention the fact that, guys, let me just scroll down here, see how much data. I mean, this is on strategy.com website. So, I mean, this is public information. Anybody can go there. Strategy.com. Yesterday I mentioned this should be called, instead of strategy, the most fucked up strategy.com, a strategyfucked.com, or, you know, 100% strategy to lose your fucking money.com. I mean, this definitely needs, the website needs to be adjusted here for sure. Because if you just look at how great of a fucking strategy this is, okay, so this guy goes and buys at 117,000. That was in July. He buys almost 2.5 billion in one shot that week. And I mean, these are millions, right? But when you see a decimal here, that means he's been buying over $1 billion at a fucking time. And all of these numbers, guys, when you add them up, I mean, the crazy shit is they are all borrowed funds through diluting MSTR shares, for issuing preferred shares, through issuing magical zero coupon bonds, and some people actually were dumb enough to fucking go for it. So anyways, look at his buying strategy, talking about strategyfuck.com, right? So he almost nails the top here with a few $1 billion. No, but he doesn't stop there. Every time the shit drops, what does he do? He buys some more, right? It seems like anytime the guy is able to borrow any fucking money, he goes buys some more Bitcoin. And guys, I mean, this is pathetic, because every time shit bounces, right? I mean, if you go look at this chart, this is when this fucker is buying. So it bounces, he buys, then it drops. It bounces, he buys again, the shit drops. It bounces, he buys again, shit drops. It bounces, he buys more, it drops. It bounces, he buys more, then it drops. Bounces, he buys more, drops. He doesn't buy, bounces, he buys more, drops, doesn't buy any here, bounces, he buys more. It drops, he doesn't buy any. It bounces, he fucking buys more. It drops, he doesn't buy any. It bounces, he buys some more. How fucked up of a strategy is this? All he had to do was just to fucking reverse it. But now, he has no fucking, I mean, you can't even call this motherfucker a dip buyer, because this motherfucker has been buying every bounce. I mean, it is on his website. Holy shit. Like, let's look at the last one. All right, so Bitcoin today is like 78, 79K. Look at the last buy he did last week. On the bounce, motherfucker buys it. 87.9. So his entry is at like 88K. Like, this guy's fucking amazing. Look, remember when it was bouncing just 2 weeks ago to 95, 96, 97K? Look, $2 billion motherfucker bought at above 95K. Do you know where this is on the chart? It's right fucking here. Look, how motherfucker, he literally snipes the fucking bounce with a few $1 billion. What kind of fucking strategy is this? I mean, it's fucking ludicrous that anybody would listen to this motherfucker. But yet, you have pension funds that are fully invested in this. Like, they're maxed out on their allocation on MSTR shares, you know, which, guys, takes me like to one of the easiest trades anybody can make right now. Well, fuck, let me finish the point while we're on this chart, right? So this is a head and shoulder, and it's very well defined. This is a head and shoulder that's been formed over the course of 10 months, almost a year, which makes it a very solid pattern, right? And when you combine this chart pattern, for those of you that don't know, when a pattern is so well defined and it's stretched out not over like a few trading days, but over a few trading months, or in this case, it's over a year, it really tells you the direction of the next move because it's way lower. So in some instances, when you have such a solid pattern, you could see a 30 to 50% drop in the underlying, in this case, it's Bitcoin. So, but it also matches with our historic analog here, right? Once Bitcoin tops in 2017, it does not bottom until October, November of 2018. And when you look at this snapshot here, sure, we drop initially from 20,000 to 7,000, and then we bounce back to 10,000. But then where do we end up a few months later? By October, we're at 3,000. So this bear trend does not stop. And basically, we're looking from this point, a 70% drop. So I would argue that, I mean, we are either here on the current chart or we're here. So which in either case, you still have a drop anywhere from, you know, you have a ridiculous fucking drop, which inside could be another 70% lower from here, okay? But if we're to just literally take the top and the bottom of this bear move, Bitcoin was down 85%. And if we were to just go to this chart now and say, okay, so if we use this top, 85% lower would be 18,900, okay? And it's going to play out. I'm not saying we're going to be at 18,900 tomorrow, which I'm not completely excluding that because the conditions of the market are such that the biggest buyer of Bitcoin, which is strategyfucked.com, okay, they're not changing their strategy. They're now forced to change their strategy because at the price of Bitcoin, nearly, like if you add, like this is, if you go to their website and you add all of their purchases from July until now, they're losing billions and billions of fucking dollars on all of these buys. Anything they buy here, they're so deep underwater. I'm talking about, man, these fuckers are down 40% on billions and billions of dollars. They've made a promise to the bond holders that the idiots that actually lend them money at 0% coupon, that their shares are going to be convertible at like $700-800. MSTR is the ticker for strategyfuck.com. I mean, their shares are around $140. It has zero chance. This fucking shit has zero chance of going to $700-800 as far as MSTR shares, because the number one method of strategy fucked to buy Bitcoin is to issue more MSTR shares. So basically, the very company that tells you their share price is going to go up is the same company that is the biggest seller of their own shares. So mathematically, this shit just doesn't work. And you know, like when you go on their website, I mean, there's so much garbage here. Like the STRD, STRK, they come up with all these none of this shit matters. Like, look at the fucking, I mean, holy shit. I mean, this is just, it's ugly. They came up with all these little goofy shit how to present the numbers that don't actually make sense. And there's no way this shit is gonna, I mean, most likely by the end of the year, Strategy is going to be trading at $10, $20 a share. It's at 146, but the biggest part of the drop is probably going to take now because I just showed you their average cost is 76K, okay? And the moment the price drops below that, I would say their borrowing ability to buy more Bitcoin goes away. And the investors that were stupid enough to lend them money at 0% coupon on the promise that MSTR shares are gonna at some point go to $700-800 where they're gonna be able to convert them, that promise is dead. And so I'm assuming, I mean, all these people are lawyering up, and they're gonna sue the shit out of Strategy, and they're gonna force Strategy to sell the instruments, and it could be happening now. So you could be waking up tomorrow, okay, Strategy at 146.51 now, and it's gonna be at fucking $46 tomorrow. That would not shock me, which would literally, I mean, this is the easiest fucking trade anybody can take. But let's go back to this. So the only condition that we did not have here in 2017, 2018 analog is the fact that we did not have such a huge institutional participation in buying and selling of Bitcoin. But now that I've showed you that the biggest buyer of Bitcoin, who's basically bought every fucking bounce, is no longer able to buy because, well, his hands are tied. Nobody's gonna fucking loan him money unless Bitcoin's gonna shoot up, from this level, maybe back to, 90K, 100K. And guys, I mean, if that shit happens, I mean, this is gonna be the greatest fucking short, because it's not gonna be, as you can see from the historic analog, it does have the ability to bounce, but these bounces, they're short-lived. So in my view, the probability of a Bitcoin making a sustainable bounce where the price is actually going to hold for more than a day or two is not likely. And if the price of Bitcoin is not able to hold on the bounce for a day or two, he's not going to be able to borrow more fucking money, which means the biggest buyer of Bitcoin is not only not able to buy anymore, but also he's going to be forced to sell his Bitcoin. So the biggest buyer is now turning literally today, February 2nd, February 3rd, February 4th, February 5th, 2026. The biggest buyer of Bitcoin could potentially be turning at any instance, any minute of the day now, into the biggest Bitcoin seller, okay? And that's what's not priced in the price of Bitcoin right now. It's not priced in the price of MSTR shares, okay? On top of that, you have this huge head and shoulder pattern that spells 30-50% drop. You have historical analog that tells you under the same conditions, okay, Bitcoin did exceptionally horrible, not for just a couple of months, but that trend continued for almost a year. And this is at the same time where people just get blown up on every drop because, well, guess what? Last week, people were saying, what were people saying at 126K? Well, it's going to 200,000-300,000. It's going to 1 million. And then when it dropped to 105, what were they saying? Oh, there's no way it's going to drop below 100K. Well, there we fucking go. We're under 100K. And then people were saying, well, there's no way it's gonna break this level, right? Because look at this. I mean, this is a beautiful example of why 13 market moves traders make so much more fucking money than all these fucking dip buyers out there. So it comes here once, comes here twice, and everybody's saying, well, that's it, the bottom is in. Then it tests this like 5 fucking times right here. That's it, the bottom is in. And then just a couple of days ago, right, we're getting to here, and they're like, well, there's no way it's going to break that level. So there were people that are saying, oh, there's no way it's going to drop below 100. And there were people who are saying there's no way it's going to drop below 90. And then this was a very strong level, and a lot of people were saying there's no way it's going to drop below that. Well, there we fucking go. 11,000 points later. And so, as you can see, now they're trying to protect this level, 75K, 74K. Okay, we're at 79K right now, but like, this is unsustainable. So before you know, I mean, the price is going to break the average cost of Michael Saylor, MSTR, and under this setup right here, he's not going to be able to borrow any more money to buy. And normally, it appears even when he does have the money, he's not buying the dips. He's buying only the fucking bounces, you know? Which is the worst fucking strategy in the world. And yet somehow he was able to, borrow fucking 60, 70, 80 billion dollars? The guy is the worst fucking trader in the world, man. How the fuck would people lend this fucking guy 70, 80 billion dollars when the guy just, all he does is he buys the fucking bounces? That is just shocking. And I think despite, like, if we were to take all the other things that I just explained and you just looked at the way this guy is buying Bitcoin, you know a fucking 5-year-old can do a better job than that. So that's the whole problem with MSTR. It's this strategy of buying Bitcoin is so fucked that unfortunately it's going to resolve into a Bitcoin collapse, and it's Michael Saylor and MSTR that are going to be blamed for it. And sure, they should be, because this fucker bought every bounce on it. If he would have just used the money slightly different, used slightly different strategy, I mean, he probably would have been okay. But every time the shit went up, he bought more. And it just, I'm sorry, but I don't give a shit. You know, somebody's been trading for 2,000 years. You should know that strategy does not fucking work. So before it's too late and before Bitcoin goes down to 18,900, which it will happen in 2026, have a bunch of people buying it around this level because they're saying, well, there's no way Michael Saylor is going to let it drop below 75, 76K. And I mean, my point is, they were the same people who are saying Bitcoin cannot drop below 100. They're the same fuckers that were saying it can't go below 90. Same people were just a few days ago telling you there's no way Bitcoin's going to drop below 80. I rest my case, guys. This is the simplest fucking trade in the world, but you know, don't just keep your eyes on the Bitcoin. Also understand how close the market is to a point where it's going to fall the fuck out, and it all happens within a few trading sessions. So if you miss that, and I mean, don't be blaming anybody but yourself. So get in touch with 13 Market Moves Coach. You guys know how to do that. Click the link below the video. There's a referral link there for you to set up the CoinCall account so you can trade. So you put together this Bitcoin trade in a smart way with utilizing options, buying put options instead of doing some stupid shit like trading futures on it, shorting it with futures. Do not ever short Bitcoin with futures, okay? That's fucking retarded. Anyway, you guys have the easiest opportunities right in front of you. Bitcoin's going to continue dropping, so what do? You short the fucking bounces. The market is about to do what Bitcoin has already done. So short it. Short the fuck out of the market, guys. I mean, there are trades that literally, I mean, there's only one problem with the market right now. Sure, options are high. Options priced high. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, you know, you're going to make fucking 200x or 100x trades. But there's chances in some sectors, in some stocks, in some commodities, you can make 50x trades right now. So don't waste your fucking time. Let's roll.